everybody, welcome to Simple Hobby Homesteading. I'm Shanna, as usual, and tonight we are making garlic mushrooms. Garlic, breaded mushrooms, I don't know, what's it called? Roasted garlic mushrooms. I saw this recipe on Facebook, someone shared it. I said, that looks delicious. And so I printed out the recipe and I'm going to try it. Now, I'm going to make like a bunch of them exactly how the recipe says. I want to see exactly how they are, exactly how the recipe says. So, but another couple I am going to make that might be a little bit better on my digestive system. I'm going to do them dairy free, and I'm going to use panko breadcrumbs rather than regular breadcrumbs, because the regular breadcrumbs we use come from homemade bread that we have, like this. We let it sit out. It's okay. Let me explain breadcrumbs. I make a loaf of bread, and usually the boys and I eat, and even Kevin, eat a ton of it for like 2 days. And then anything that's left over after 2 days usually doesn't get eaten a whole lot, and so it's perfect to make breadcrumbs with. I cut up in slices, leave it out for about 2 days, and then I use my food processor to grind it all up and make breadcrumbs. And then I go ahead, and to get really fine breadcrumbs, I toast those at about 300 degrees for 10 minutes and kind of stirring them around during that time. And then I let them cool, and I put them back through, I was going to say I reprocess them. I put them back through the KitchenAid to grind them even more to get them nice and fine, like the ones I guess that you would buy in the store, because I think the ones you buy in the store are super fine. I prefer breadcrumbs that are finer. And to do that, it helps if I go ahead and bake those breadcrumbs for about 10 minutes to get them a little bit easier to grind down. And then, of course, letting them cool and grinding them down again. So we've got a half a cup of regular breadcrumbs, but this bread that I make has dairy in it. And so, like I said before, I'm trying not to do as much dairy right now because I think it's upsetting my tummy. And so, and causing hives and whatnot. And so I have non-dairy butter. I have Smart Balance. I'm going to use a couple of those for. And for mine, I'm going to shallow, the oven just preheated. I'm going to shallow fry mine in sunflower oil rather than the vegetable oil that the recipe calls for. I think that's the only changes I make, and I'll let you know as we go along when I'm making those changes. So first of all, and I'm following the recipe exactly how it is. I'm not reading it differently. I'm not whatever. And so I just checked to make sure I have all the ingredients and the utensils I need, but that's all I did. I really didn't read much more into it because I kind of wanted to be, you know, our first time together doing it on video. So ingredients, we need 16 even-sized open cap mushrooms, stems cut level. So I have a bunch of mushrooms here. We have baby, what are they called? Baby Bella mushrooms. They look so good. And they want 16 of them, open cap. I guess, I don't know much about mushrooms. What's the difference between open cap? I don't know. Anyways, we're using these mushrooms. Stems cut level. So I guess we just cut the stems to level. So you're keeping the stem in the cap, but otherwise, you know, you could take the whole stem out. But we're not doing that. And we need to kind of wipe these mushrooms. Now, when you clean your mushrooms, do not wash your mushrooms. Never, ever wash your mushrooms. Take a look at them, and most of the time, they're not going to be too dirty. Just take a nice, lightly damp towel or paper towel and just wipe the dirt off. And do it either over your floor and then sweep, or do it over the trash can or something. But just lightly brush the dirt off of them. If you wash your mushrooms, you will find they will get soggy and nasty. Yeah, these do have a little bit, I mean, they do have a little dirt on them. Mushrooms are grown in the soil, and so, or on logs or whatever, but they're going to have some dirt. So we're just going to cut these mushrooms. The stem, we need 16 of them. Okay, so join me back here. Hopefully I can speed this up so you don't have to sit here for the entire time that I'm wiping down 16 mushrooms. And I might do a couple extra because, like I said, I wanted to do some extra ones for me without the dairy. And the recipe will be in the description below. And if there's anything that you want me to try making, send it to me. Send the recipe to me either on Facebook or put it in the comments on videos. I like to make new things. Oh, I love mushrooms. They're so meaty. I mean, I think they're a decent meat substitute. Oh, and the recipe I'm making without the dairy, it is alpha-gal friendly. So if you have the alpha-gal allergy, there's no meat products in it, so it's going to be alpha-gal friendly. And some people who have alpha-gal can do dairy, no problem. and some folks can't. So it's a very unique allergy. And I can do dairy sometimes, and then other times I can't. There's really, unfortunately, and I can't tell when my body can tolerate dairy and when it can't. So it's kind of hit and miss. We've got our mushrooms recipe. Now what? My fingers are all dirty. All right, got our mushrooms. 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil or corn oil. And that's going to be for shallow frying them. Excuse me. Shallow frying them. So, we're going to use the vegetable oil. If I can get it open, my goodness. We're going to use just plain old vegetable oil, 3 tablespoons. We're going to put it back here. And now we are going to do another pan with some sunflower oil for the mushrooms that I'm going to do for me. I like to use sunflower oil for shallow frying like we're doing with these, just because it's got a nice high smoke point. It's also got some great omega-6 fatty acids. Just got to kind of watch. I just have to kind of watch because with the allergy as well, I tend to have inflammation in my joints, and so too much omega-6 or too many omega-6 fatty acids, research is showing, can lead to inflammation. So you just kind of watch how much omega-6 you're getting. But I love shallow frying with sunflower oil. So we're doing another pan with some sunflower oil. And we're not going to heat those up quite yet because they won't take long at all to heat up, but I want to make sure we have everything else on our recipe list ready. Okay, 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter, softened. Oh shoot. Okay, so I have the 1.5 sticks of, once again, our Kerrygold butter. It is not softened. Okay, trick, here we go. I don't think I realized it had to be softened. Okay, we can fix this. We can do this. It's going to be easy. If you need softened butter and you forgot to soften it or leave it out so it could soften, do not stick it in the microwave. I beg of you, do not stick it in the microwave. It will soften on the outside and be a puddle mess. It'll just soften unevenly and it will melt unevenly. It's not good. Grab a shredder, a cheese grater, and just grate your butter. Look at that, and just grate it right in the container, and it will soften in no time at all. So this is a wonderful cheat, a wonderful hack for softening your butter quickly when you forget and you have to soften butter. So look at that. That's half the stick already shredded. It takes 2 seconds, which is really nice. This Kerrygold is a wonderful butter. And when I am doing dairy and doing butter, this Kerrygold, I have less reactions to it than I do any other butter. So I love it. Okay, so we're just going to grate this into here. Oh, and it's going to soften so nice. Just be careful when you're grating if you have a good grater because they are kind of sharp. All right. So, and just the body heat from your hand too will help soften that butter. And then you might need to go wash your hands because they might be a little greasy. All right, so far this recipe is going really good. We've got our butter. Now we need 3 cloves of garlic chopped very fine. 3 cloves. That's it? 3 cloves? Okay, we'll use 3 cloves for the recipe because we're going to use the recipe, but I'm going to add a couple more cloves just to mine because I love garlic. Oh, the other thing, we're going to chop up the garlic as the recipe says, but for mine, I'm going to mince the garlic because, let me tell you a little bit with garlic. I'm sorry I'm getting on like tangents with some of these things, but it's just good information. Garlic, the more you chop it, the more you manipulate it, the more you crush it and so on and so forth, the more sulfur that it releases from the garlic and the more pungent you get. Taste, odor, all of that. You release more of those sulfur oils out of the garlic. So minced garlic has some of the highest concentration of flavor. It's got the biggest taste and the most pungent in aroma. Crushed garlic, and that's where you just take and you crush the garlic, and we'll show you how we do that here in a minute because we crush it to get the skin off. Crushed garlic would probably have about the next level because it releases a lot of the sulfur oils from the garlic. And then there's chopped garlic, and it wants us to chop garlic very fine. I think chopped garlic has like the least taste. It's got some taste like when you're chewing it because your mouth is chewing it and releasing that, but in the cooking, in the dish itself, it doesn't have a ton. So it's more of a fragrant aroma. It's more of a subtle, it's not like in your face. And I like garlic that's in my face. And so we're going to show you how to do it as the recipe says. We're going to chop some garlic. So the first thing I like to do is just chop the ends off the clove of garlic. A whole big bunch of cloves is called a bulb. The individual things are called cloves. So you put your knife flat on it. Just be careful with the edge of the knife. Just crush it down and just smush it down once, a good time, a good hit, and that gets that skin off the garlic, which is really handy. Really nice way to do it. So then we're just going to chop this garlic fine as we can. And we've got a little part on this garlic here that we're going to cut off, a little brown part. Look at that. And so we're going to go ahead and chop this garlic fine, just like the recipe says, as fine as we can get it. You just keep rocking your knife back and forth. And if you get some of the green in that, if you get a garlic that's got a little sprout coming up, that's okay. Just chop that. Don't try to take that out. It's got great flavor, and it's not going to be much different than your regular garlic. So just chop that right along with it. That's just the plant starting to come out. Okay, 3 cloves of garlic. And then, like I said, when it's time to do mine, I am going to mince. Well, actually, I've got my butter here. I can just mince it, because I think, are we mixing? Oh, wait, because I don't know what we're doing. I think we're mixing it all together. Well, let me just look ahead so I can do the garlic with... Mix the butter, garlic, thyme, lemon juice, and seasoning. Seasoning? What seasoning? I don't know. We'll get to it. All right, so I can mince some garlic directly into my fake butter here. The nice thing with mincing it, too, it's so much quicker. It gets your hands less garlicky. My hands are going to smell like garlic forever after chopping that garlic, for sure. So we're just going to mince. I'm going to mince like 2 full cloves in there. Oh, that's going to be a lot of garlic for just a little bit of butter. I love garlic, though. I really do. It is so good. And it's really good for you. Antiviral, has a lot of antiviral and antibacterial properties. Garlic, done. Fresh thyme. We want fresh thyme chopped, 2 tablespoons. All right, thyme, as usual, comes in these beautiful little stalks. And I think I've showed it on another video. Which thyme video did I show it where you... I don't remember. Oh, grilled chicken with Italian salsa. I showed you how to do thyme. Just grab the top and take and strip down the leaves going down from the top. And it's super easy to strip the leaves off. So we're going to strip those leaves off down here. And then we are going to chop them. And about 3 cloves of garlic is going to be about 2 tablespoons. So it looks like they're looking for equal parts thyme and garlic. Kind of good. It kind of depends on how big your cloves are, I guess, too, of garlic. So I'm surprised they don't call this recipe thyme garlic mushrooms, because there's a lot of thyme. So you just chop, rock back and forth with your knife again, as usual. And I did just over 2 tablespoons when I did all this chopping, because I'm going to put a little bit in this one for me. Remember, I'm doing some side ones. So we're going to put some thyme in there, and we still have plenty to put in the main, 2 tablespoons in the main dish. All right, 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. I can do that. Thyme can go in that bowl. The garlic can go in that bowl. The chopped garlic. They're chopping their garlic. It smells delicious already in here. So, 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. A lemon juicer, Taco Tuesday, you need it. Grilled chicken with Italian salsa, you need it. Get yourself a lemon and a lime juicer. It's worth it. All right, so let me see. That's about 1 tablespoon. That's a half. Yep, there we go. 1.5 tablespoons, done. Just off a half a lemon. Let's use the other half in here. In mine. There we go. All right, mine's going to be kind of a hodgepodge because it's not exactly the right ratio, but that's okay. All right, salt and pepper to taste. Is that what they're talking about? Seasonings? Lime and... Okay, that's what they're talking about. Seasonings. Salt and pepper. Okay, so let's do... We like pepper in our family. Let's do a couple grinds of pepper. A couple grinds of pepper in mine as well. There we go. And some salt. We like salt. Oh, can't get the jar open. Yes, I can. All right, so we got some sea salt here. You can use iodized salt or sea salt, whatever you want. We're going to, well, we like a little bit more salt. We're going to put probably about a ½ teaspoon maybe. Yeah. All right, let's look at the recipe. And a ½ cup of breadcrumbs. Okay, we're not adding the breadcrumbs to that, though. I've got a ½ cup of breadcrumbs here, and that's from that bread that I made here at home. And then the panko breadcrumbs. Let's just grab... Now, the panko breadcrumbs, why do I use those versus regular breadcrumbs? The panko don't have dairy. They're a Japanese breadcrumb, and they're really good for frying anything you have oil with because they don't soak up as much oil. So I really love panko because, especially when you're doing stuff with oil, it doesn't soak up the oil. And they're a little bit of a lighter breadcrumb. They don't have any any crust. It's a crustless bread that the Japanese use to make them. They're a little bit bigger flakes, and they're just really good. They have a really good flavor, and I think they're lighter, and the lack of dairy is really handy. Now, breadcrumbs in the store, they add a ton of stuff. If you get a container of breadcrumbs in the store, they add a ton of stuff to them. I'm not even kidding, they add high fructose corn syrup, which is not going to kill you, whatever, but I mean, if you can avoid some of that stuff, the sugar, try to avoid it, please. Okay, so breadcrumbs, we've got those hanging by. So I think it's time to actually start doing stuff. Preheat oven to 400 degrees. We did it. Lightly fry the mushrooms capside down in hot oil for 20 seconds. All right, let's turn the oil on. That oil's going to heat up. Lightly fry the mushrooms capside down. I probably need to get something to turn them with. All right, so we're going to, after we do that, we are going to arrange the mushrooms in a shallow roasting pan with stems facing upwards. So they're going to be the little cap down, stem upwards. And let's see, in a shallow baking pan, this is about the best shallow baking pan I had. I don't have anything more shallow, I don't think. We are going to mix together the butter, garlic, thyme, lemon juice, and seasoning. We have everything in here except the butter. Let's get the butter in there. Oh, that butter has softened so nicely because we got to mix it all up. And then what are we going to do with it? We are going to spoon the garlic butter on top of each mushroom and then lightly press the breadcrumbs on top. Cook immediately in the oven for 10 minutes. 10 minutes is all? These are going to be ready so fast. That's awesome. Because I'm hungry. And the garlic has made me like super hungry. Okay, we're going to mix it all up. Get that lemon juice and garlic and thyme all mixed up. So we're going to lightly fry the mushroom caps, and then we're going to put them in this baking pan or baking dish, and then we're going to press this butter onto them, and then we're going to press, what does it say? Spoon a little garlic butter on each mushroom, then lightly press the breadcrumbs on top. We can do that. It's getting the lemon juice to get into the butter is the interesting thing. Oh, it's incorporated now. Nice. Okay, that's going to sit there for a minute. Okay, it says to lightly fry the mushrooms capside down in hot oil for 20 seconds. All right, capside down for 20 seconds. Are you ready? And we're going to do the sunflower oil and the vegetable oil at the same time. Oh, it smells so good. I just realized I like the smell of pan frying mushrooms. Okay, those ones have been in there for 20 seconds, so let's get those out. The first ones we put in have been in there. Okay, that was 2 pans dirtied for 20 seconds. That's all right. Okay, are they down or up? Arrange the mushrooms in a shallow roasting pan with stems facing upwards. All right, so the tops are down. The stems facing upwards. There we go. Get some stems upwards. Those look so good. I wonder, the 20 seconds didn't seem like it really would be enough time to do much of anything with them in that pan, but we'll see. We're following the recipe. We're following the recipe. So far, I will say it's been really easy, which I love. Love a recipe that's easy. Okay, so we have our vegetable oil ones there. Let's put our sunflower oil ones down here. Remember, those are going to be the dairy-free ones. Let's put the butter mixture on those other. It seems like a lot is going to end up going on because we have a ton of butter. It says spoon the butter on, not finger the butter on. It's going to need a ton. That's a lot of butter. Do you know what's going to happen? This butter is going to kind of melt off, and it's all going to get mixed in with these ones on the other side. I'm probably going to put those in a separate, pan. I just realized that because this butter is going to melt off, and it's going to, in fact, I'm going to give these guys a little bit of room. And that butter, because that butter is going to melt off. Do we all see how much butter needs to go on there? Because there's a ton of butter in here. And we're just 1 mushroom shy of the recipe. It said 16, and we have 15 mushrooms. Yeah. Well, with the cap, or with the stem on there, it doesn't create much of a little hole for the butter. was I supposed to get that stem all the way out? I just feel like maybe I was. Because look, the butter's just sitting on top. On mine, I'm going to try it taking the stem out on mine. The ones that I did in sunflower that we're doing non-butter, I'm going to try taking the stem out so it has like a little cavity to fill. But it said cut the stems level or even. It did say that. So I followed the recipe. If someone's done this or I'm doing it wrong, please tell me. There is a ton of butter left. Like more than what would be on one mushroom. Look at all this butter that's left. I was going to say I might save the butter. Maybe I can do another batch, but it calls for this much butter. I feel like maybe we should use it. This can't be right. Look, see the butter's just falling off them. I am going to pour some of the lemon juice because it didn't incorporate super well with the butter. Okay, there's about, I would say about 3 good healthy tablespoons of butter left, but I can't get it in there. Mix together the butter, did that. Arrange, okay. Lightly press the, okay, wait. I was using spoon a little garlic butter. Then why did you have us make a ton? Spoon a little garlic butter onto each mushroom. Then lightly press the breadcrumbs over top. Unless they wanted you to do like these huge mushrooms. But no, the picture showed itty bitty mushrooms. Okay, well, I guess we're just pressing breadcrumbs on top. So it's like literally more butter than it is mushroom at this point. And we're just patting some breadcrumbs on top. Maybe it just makes like a buttery sauce that they sit in while they bake. We're using all the breadcrumbs though. That's good. Okay, and this little guy is going to be absolutely perfect for mine. I'm going to try taking the stem out and then filling it with butter. So we've already cooked these in the sunflower. See, that stem doesn't want to come out after the fact. I think I'm going to try taking 3 of them out and then leaving 2 of them in. We'll leave those 2 in. Okay, so let's do the same thing. Fill. See, that butter fits so much better when you take that stem out. Okay, and we're going to use our panko breadcrumbs for these. All right, and now these are going in the oven for 10 minutes. We're going to put both batches in there for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back. Alrighty, everybody, they are out of the oven, and here's what they look like. Okay, so they seem really soft. Like the breadcrumbs didn't brown very well. I would think the breadcrumbs might be the crunchier. They're not. They're very soft. I think just too much butter. I think I just used too much butter. I should have used just a little bit of butter. And then they might have browned up a little bit better. I think because they're just kind of swimming in butter. The panko ones actually look a little bit better. So we're going to try them though. Definitely, I would like have that butter. Like just make the whole butter concoction, only make half of it. If you're doing 16 mushrooms, because it was just way too much butter. So I'm going to try them though. I'm going to try the one with butter too. I'm just going to try a bite of it and see. And I love mushrooms. Yeah. Okay, the mushroom is still quite tough. Like it's got a lot of chew to it, still meaty tasting. So I was worried that all that butter was just going to make the mushroom very soggy. And it's not. So what I might do is I might stick these back in the oven for like another 5 minutes and just see what happens. Because I was worried about keeping them in there longer because I didn't want the mushroom to get all mushy. The mushroom is still very meaty tasting, very good. And I honestly I'm not minding that the breadcrumbs didn't really crust up and didn't get crunchy. I'm not minding it. That's surprisingly a good mushroom. So if I did this again, a good roasted garlic mushroom, if I did it again, I would add just a little bit of butter, just a little pat of butter, like a teaspoon, maybe a tablespoon. No, not even a tablespoon. I'd say a teaspoon of butter, breadcrumbs on top, and do maybe 15 minutes. The taste is there. The taste is great. I don't want those mushrooms to break down any further. Okay, so I'm going to try the panko one. Those are really good. Those are addictively good. Those are really, really good. The panko one. In the panko one, the mushroom broke down a little bit more. It's not as meaty as the one with regular breadcrumbs. It's honestly not as meaty. The breadcrumbs toasted a little bit more, and I'm getting more of a crunch. It's not a sogginess. It's an absolute great crunch. I'd rather have the mushroom a little meatier. And so I'm not sure. I'm not sure why the mushroom softened so much. Unless that was one. That might have been one without the stem. Let me try one where I know the stem is in there. Ooh, that one I know the stem is in there. So maybe, because remember I did a couple of those, I took the stem out. So let me try one that I know the stem is in. Okay. That other one, the stem must have been out, because this one, the stem is in. I just cut the stem at the level with the cap, and the mushroom held up much better. Very meaty mushroom. That's phenomenal. So I would honestly, I'd go the panko route. It's really good. I love it. So at the end, I'm happy. I'm really happy. I'm going to put these in for 5 more minutes. I'm going to leave the panko ones just as they are, and I'm going to eat those. Thank you guys for joining me. Remember, do what you can with what you have wherever you are, and send me any fun recipes that you want me to try, especially the alpha gal friendly ones. No mammal, no dairy or anything like that. I would love those. Lost the mushroom stem. Mushroom stem down. I wonder if dogs will eat mushroom stems. Sorry, my phone just did a ding ding. Ooh, I'm excited.